Welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own up-tempo trap soul beats for Bryson. So I'm going to be breaking down this beat that sounds like it's sampled from an old record, but really I'm going to show you guys how I did it all from scratch. I started off by opening a Lounge Lizard and I found this broken tone wheel preset. Kind of sounds like an organ / Rhodes, and I laid down these pretty simple chords. I'll play it for you now and then I'll get into the theory after that. So the first chord is an E minor 7th. I've just brought the G up an octave, so if I bring that down you'll see. The second chord is a G major 7th. The third chord, which is going to really help you get that R&B kind of sound, is it's an F sharp minor, but I've shifted the normal 7th up to the A sharp, which makes it in the harmonic scale. By doing that, it creates a lot more tension and it also gives you that vintage R&B kind of sound. The final chord is a simple D major. I've just shifted the D up an octave, as you can see. Also, I've used an A instead of an A sharp, which is the natural minor 7th. So if I highlight these three notes, you'll see the tension. They're going down by one semitone each. That's helping create the tension, and then it'll resolve back into this chord here. Next, I've layered a synth pad on top. This is from the Astral Analog Bank. Super fire, definitely go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. As you can see, I've copied the same chords, but I've only brought it in on certain parts, so it just gives a little bit of variety and texture. On the pad, I've added an EQ with the bandpass narrow preset, and I've kept it in and around the 1500 Hz range. Then I've added a shaper box to make it pulse, and a medium-sized reverb to push it back within the mix. Next up, I've done something similar, but with these cassette keys this time. So what I've done is turn the reverse on, and then brought the attack up, which just kind of makes it a bit longer, and yeah, it sounds like this. To the cassette keys, I've added a J37 with the metallic drum loop preset and a very light reverb just to blend it in and glue everything together. After that, I wanted to add some more texture, so I found a perk loop from Only One's kits. That just has an EQ sitting around 2000 Hz. Then I knew I wanted to add some vocals, so I went onto Splice and found this R&B vocal loop.
Something's weighing heavy, created too much pressure, this ain't healthy. We were all good, love was plenty. Now look at the cards love has dealt me. One
thing I'd definitely say, if you use vocals from Splice but you want to make them sound like your own, is to use dry vocal acapellas rather than wet ones, so you can completely customize the effects on there. And also, this is a really good way if you're struggling to make some samples, is to go and grab a simple loop like this from Splice with vocals and try and build some chords around it. That can be a good way to spark some ideas. So to those vocals, I've added a simple altar boy, just shifting the format down a little bit. Quite a heavy, roomy reverb to kind of drown it out and make it sound distant. And a very tight, narrow bandpass EQ. After that, I bounced all of those elements together into one audio file so I could mess around and chop it so it sounded like a real sample. So as you can see, I've done these little chops at the beginning here, and I've also done some at the end as well. And then right at the end here, I've made it unique and then reversed it. This sounds really good with the perk loop and the vocals and everything mixed together. It really makes it sound like a vintage song. To that, I've added this super fire effect plugin called Spin. It does a bunch of fire stuff like reverb and modulation, and I've just thrown this on there to give it a bit more of a vintage feel. I've also brought the mix down to around a quarter so it's not doing too much. Next, I added a simple halftime, but what I've done is automated it so it only comes in for the verses, and an EQ just to cut some of the lows out. Okay, so next up is the drums, and I started off with this simple rim shot. After that is some hi-hats, and this is where I really got the bounce for the beat. I messed around with the velocities a lot on that to create the bounce, and that's really all you need to do sometimes. Then I added another hi-hat to fill some gaps and add a bit more texture. Then next is a kick. As you heard, the kick is kind of spaced out because the hi-hats are doing a lot. You don't want to do too much with the kick. You'll also notice that these two kicks fit with the chops I did with the sample. I definitely recommend thinking about things like that and how every element is working together when you're making a beat like this. Then of course I had to add a super hard 808 like you find in a lot of Bryson songs. And then finally this reverse 808 from 90's kit just to fill a bit more space. I felt like something at the end of the loop could fit really well, so I found this piano and added a very simple counter melody. That has quite a light Valhalla delay on it, a cassette with the fuzzy Vox preset to give it that really detuned vintage sound, and a good Hertz low-hi with the bandpass preset just to cut out some frequencies and give it its own place within the mix. For a bridge section I've added a very simple synth bass. And finally, to top it all off, I added a riser just to transition into different sections. I've kept the structuring very simple on this one, so all I've done is to differentiate between the verses and the hook, is brought the halftime in for the verses and taken it out for the hook. As I mentioned earlier, I added a synth bass for the bridge, and I also took the 808 out for this section. This just gives a section for the beat to slow down and build back up again. And then for the outro, all I've done is automate the master volume so it fades out slowly. Okay, so that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one.